It is so hard these days in fantasy football to find a true bell cow workhorse running back. You can count them on two hands, I believe. Right? It's two hands.
Okay.
It's two hands, but you don't need a third hand.
I like the.
You don't need
waving.
I swear I have two hands.
I've got jazz hands. These aren't jazz hands. They're running back hands.
Oh, no.
There you go. You've heard of jazz hands.
Yes.
Yeah, it's also the running back hands. So anyway, Tony Pollard is on one of these hands.
Yeah.
Is my point.
So now you should walk around with a workhorse running back list on a piece of paper.
On each one of my fingers.
No, get printout cutouts of their faces.
Oh, that's what I should do.
And tape them to your fingers.
Yeah,
and when you walk by, people go, here's how many running backs get high workload.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is a terrifying bit.
Right, exactly.
Oh, no.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. I'm Jay Croucher, Lawrence Jackson, Matthew Berry. Don't lose that pen, Matthew. No insurance pens.
I noticed. Yeah, we have no
I didn't
insurance
bring my
pens,
own.
no backup pens for me today. I've got to make sure this one gets through the game. Don't Aaron Jones me, little pen.
Okay. Love-hate day, so plenty to get to.
Would there have been a better reference than Aaron Jones?
Yeah, I don't know what that.
Well, he went on IR. He's out for 4 games.
Okay, so you don't want the pen to go on IR.
Yeah,
you can't have an IR.
Yeah, I don't want him to leave the game early the way
it's an
Aaron Jones did
injury-prone
last
pen.
week.
Yeah,
I'm
you gotta watch
Lawrence,
the
was
soft tissue
there a
injuries.
different reference I should have made?
Maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
Well,
thanks.
Love-hate day.
As you can see, witty repartee is already on fire here at the show. I would have got
we gotta wake up first.
Yeah.
You got one show a week. Like, come
It's
prepared.
8 a.m.
Come on now.
Yeah. All right.
Come
well,
on, Lawrence.
Miami Dolphins need to wake up, or their season's going to be over. They
Yes,
play
sir.
the Bills tonight. We're going to preview that game. But first of all, Matthew, Commanders fans drink free. They tend to drink free a lot.
Yeah.
But,
this is a pro Commander show. They drink free. As you see it right there, today is a historic day for DC, the Commanders organization, and our fans. With the council's approval, we can now move forward on the transformative RFK project that will bring lasting economic growth for our city. Blah, blah, blah. Josh Harris, we're deeply grateful. We're coming back. RFK, hashtag raise hail, hashtag hail to the Commanders, hashtag faith in 5. Commanders fans, drink free. We're heading back to DC. RFK. Sorry, FedEx Field.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rawl John, Maryland.
It was a great time at FedEx Field. To be fair. Almost killed Jalen Hurts.
Yes, exactly. People falling down. Who can forget? So many great memories at FedEx Field. Was it the stale peanuts that Dan Snyder sold that were over a year old?
Yeah, the airline peanuts.
The airline peanuts that he sold. They had expired for over a year, and they tried to sell them at RFK, or the waste that came down. The waste that fell on other people, or Jalen Hurts. That people fell through the stands, almost killing
killed
Jalen
the Super Bowl
Hurts.
MVP.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's like just so many different things. The dime store mannequin of Sean Taylor in the parking lot in front of the porta potties.
The disrespect.
Such a disaster. Anyway.
You know what the best thing is about the Commanders now and the real sign of growth? I don't think about this team anymore. They're just not that, they're just a normal organization, which is a massive step forward.
Right. When it's no news, it's good news.
It's one of the 32 now.
I used to make you're 100% right. I used to make the jokes that people will know that I've been such a crazy Washington fan for years and years and years. And they would come up to me and says oh man, do you see the latest story? And I'd literally have to say, which one?
Yeah.
Right. Hey, you see the latest allegation or the latest lawsuit? And I'd literally have to say, which allegation?
Yeah.
Which lawsuit? And be like, no. Which state is, the one where the state is suing you? Which state? Again, because Maryland, Virginia, and the District of Columbia all at one point. Anyway, there were investigations from 3 different states.
When it's just football about the Commanders, it's all good.
Faith in 5.
Got a quarterback and everything. All right, let's get to...
It's love-hate. It's love-hate day, Jay Croucher.
It is. So let's get straight into it. Start with the running backs.
Yes, you're looking very bankerish.
Thank you. Well, it's commercial. It's commercial
I know,
Thursday.
We got a commercial Thursday.
Commercial action.
Exactly.
Coming up.
Lawrence Jackson in a T-shirt. He's not part of the commercial.
Man,
I can't do the commercials because if I do the commercials, then y'all will never get to do one.
That's a good point. We don't want to be displaced.
A man who, if he keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to be in a lot of commercials going forward. That's Bucky Irving.
Well done.
We heard from Bucky Irving on the Bucs' run game success.
Going into a game, we always want to establish the run. We know everything starts up front with the O-line, so just being able to trust them guys every time we get the opportunity to run the ball, just believing them that they're going to open up the holes and we trust our progression, go through our reads, and do what we do.
Excited to wear these sweet, white, creamsicle uniforms?
I'm excited to go against the Jets. I don't really care about the uniforms.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Oh, from an Oregon guy?
Not at all.
Very Matthew Barry type question. Hey,
Yeah.
Bucky, you excited to wear these sweet, light creamsicle jerseys?
I would be.
They are delicious.
I'm pro creamsicle jerseys.
Sure, definitely. They look great, but I believe Bucky Irving when he say that.
Yes, I do too.
I definitely believe because he gonna run like it too.
Yeah,
He's ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs in the running back rankings.
Yes, he is. He comes in at number 6, which is why he makes the love list. Look, you're obviously starting him. Everyone that's drafted him is starting him. But do I think he exceeds expectations this week, which is what the love and hate list is all about, those that exceed or fall short of expectations? I do. Look, we talked at the beginning of the show. You saw the clip about my running back hands, my Jazz hands, the number of bell cow running backs. Well, Bucky Irving is one of them, right? There's only 4 running backs this year averaging at least 20 touches a game and at least a 15% target share, and one of them is Bucky Irving. 2 first names, always a crowd pleaser. You know what else is a crowd pleaser? A matchup against the Jets. Through 2 weeks, Lawrence, the Jets are bottom 10 in terms of most fantasy points allowed to opposing running backs. This Jets defense, it's weird because I think the Jets are a better team than they were last year, even though they're 0-2, and even though the Jets defense hasn't seemed to show up in the way that we expected them to.
Yeah, and Jay, you just mentioned how Matthew has Bucky Irving ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs. Well, that's understandably so. You got Gibbs versus the Ravens. Bucky Irving going against this Jets team that just let James Cook run wild on them.
Yeah.
So
just
Bucky
let James cook.
Yeah,
See what I did there?
He cooked them for real. Talk about witty there, Matthew. Good one. But expect something similar out of Bucky Irving. We saw him against the Texans as the Bucs are trying to come back. Bucky Irving involved in the run game, pass game, just like we used to. So should be another nice day for
Producer Steven, do me a favor. That they let James cook. Do me a favor. Clip that off. Send that into the Smithsonian and the Emmy reel. Go ahead and do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Comment from Tej. Let's move on quickly. Bucky Irving will be the RB1 this week. I think I am very high on him, as is Matthew. It's about time.
Do you think, Tej, I'm just looking at Tej's
He's
note here real
actually
quick.
a Tiger?
Well, no, he just says, high is in all caps. Is that like sort of code? Do you think
know what that
is
means.
he smoking a doob or something like that? Has he got a bong?
He's a tiger.
They're known to do that.
Yeah.
I'm just asking. You think he's a gummy guy or a bong guy, Lawrence?
It's hard for the Tigers
because
to
he
get the
wrote
pulse
it. Because he wrote
With
it
the
all
pause
caps.
with the pause. It's hard with a
Everyone knows
with a
the
bong.
Tigers are gummy creatures. Yeah. All right, Valiant Vincent, creamsicle jerseys, drink free. Yeah,
No doubt.
Opposition to that. The creamsicle jerseys are a big hit. It's bad news for New York Jets that their defining player this season, and the guy that most Jets fans text me about, Michael Clemens, who's not been good, not been a great start to the season for
That's
Michael
tough.
Clemens.
Tough start.
And a guy, Lawrence, who took advantage of said Jets run defense, was, to be fair, a much maligned guy on this show, James Cook, in the preseason.
1000%.
But he has shoved that in
I
our
was
faces.
leading that charge,
Yeah.
and so through 2 games, I've been wrong on James Cook, Lawrence.
Yeah, not on this show, just y'all on this show. Let's let them know that.
Majority of the show.
James Cook, running back 1 through the first 2 weeks in fantasy points per game. This is the thing about it, fellas. Week 1, he was running back 4 in a negative game script. Next week against the Jets, positive game script, running back 2. So that's what you want to see with James Cook. What you also want to see, too, is through these first 2 games, he has had at least 18 total touches and over 100 scrimmage yards. That's the thing we've been trying to that's what we wanted to see out of James Cook. We didn't want to see these 13 and 14 touch games. Now he's getting these 18 touches, and he's making the most of them. Again, over 5 yards a carry. I still believe if the Bills did not go away from him against the Chiefs, they would have played the Eagles in the Super Bowl. James Cook is a baller. They are riding him in the run game, and he's getting work in the pass game. Against the Ravens in week 1, he didn't do well in the run game. They said, all right, we're going to throw him some little passes, and he made one of the biggest plays in that game. So James Cook, big love this week against the Miami defense, who's allowed the 6th most fantasy points to running back so far.
One of the anti-James Cook arguments that I made in the preseason was they just didn't use him in the passing game enough. Last year he had a under 9% target share, and so or at least under 10% target share. And so the fact that if they are going to continue, which I never understood because he's a good pass catcher and he's an explosive player. So if they are going to continue this trend of using him more in the passing game, then then yeah, let James cook. That's all we're asking. I'm asking you, Buffalo, tonight to let James cook. Again, you see what I did there? I used his last name as a verb.
Yes.
Jay Croucher.
You did it twice.
I did it.
You did it twice.
Again.
Go and make it 3 times just for the folks.
You gotcha. I got you. That's all right. That's all right. Yes.
Let's keep going. So the Bills are 12.5-point favorites in that game too, which will help for game script and help James get the chef's hat out of the kitchen. Let's move on to Jordan Mason, Matthew, who now all of a sudden might be featuring on the vaunted Berry running back workhorse. Aaron Jones is on IR.
That's exactly right. You know, Jordan Mason, again, another guy, 2 first names, always a crowd pleaser. And he's had 7 career games, literally 7 games where he's gotten a decent workload, where he's gotten at least 15 or more touches. And in those 7 games, he's averaging 94 yards. You mentioned Aaron Jones on IR, so we certainly expect Jordan Mason to get at least 15 touches for the Vikings this weekend in a game against Cincinnati, right? Who last week allowed 5.3 yards per carry to Jacksonville running backs, right? Last week, both Travis Etienne and Bhayshul Tuten ran all over Cincinnati. So Mason, who, by the way, started to be more involved in the passing game, that's never been a big part of his game, 4% target share last year. Right now he's up to 10%, and that's with Aaron Jones active for a game and a half, who's primarily the Vikings passing down back. So the fact that they're using him more in the passing game already, and I expect him to use him even more in what should be, I think, a sneaky shootout against the Vikings. I actually think Jake Browning, Carson Wentz. I think it's going to
what a duo.
I actually think that's going to be. I think that's going to be
right there.
It's 41.5. I've said I would take the over. I actually think this is going to be a very entertaining game. Just kind of like Giants Cowboys was last week, where you're like, what the hell is this? Or Steelers Jets in week 1, where it's just one of those ones that you don't expect it to be entertaining, but I bet you it's gonna be.
It's still Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. It might be the 2 best receivers.
Believe that. And back to Jordan Mason real quick. We saw him those first 8-9 weeks on the 49ers last year without CMC. Now this will be interesting. He gets going here in Minnesota Vikings. What happens when Aaron Jones comes back after he comes back from short-term IR? I don't think you could go back to that same kind of 50-50 split there, because we've seen that Jordan Mason can be a running back 1 in regular football, fantasy football, any type of football. He's that good of a running back, and I know right now the Vikings are very happy they brought him in.
He's somebody we talked about in the preseason that we thought was a really a good value, that he was going a couple rounds after Aaron Jones, but we thought this was going to be a split and that there was an opportunity, obviously, given the injury-prone nature of Jones, it's on the wrong side of 30, that there might be opportunities this season where Mason becomes the guy, and it starts now in week 3. So, yes, he makes the love list. Have him as a top 20 play this week.
Yep. Brandon Baxter, question on YouTube. Pick 2 full PPR, Chase, Connor, and Mason.
You're obviously starting Chase. I think I would go Mason here over Connor.
I'll go Mason.
Yeah, I mean, I'm nervous about. Yeah, I'm nervous about Trey Benson's increased usage, especially in the passing game. Arizona on the road at San Francisco. You don't love that matchup. So yeah, give me Jordan Mason and Jamar Chase there.
Comment from Aldo Baravero. Jordan Mason will be on the cover of Madden 27. Bank on it.
Whoa.
I don't think so, but you never know.
I mean, I suppose if you bought Madden 27 and then you printed out a picture of Jordan Mason and then taped it, then I suppose.
No, there's a way.
How's there a way?
Go for 2,000 yards. And on the way to that 2,000 yards, maybe week 11, week 12, make sure you jump over somebody backwards.
Yes.
That's how you get on that cover.
That is
Jordan Mason.
That is the recipe these days. Okay, my guy for the love list, a little niche, but it's Tyler Allgeier, Ty Dollar Sign. He gets at Carolina. I don't think anyone's quoted that before, but I'm going to try to start that movement. So the thing is with Tyler Allgeier, even though obviously it's Bijan Robinson's backfield, Bijan is the guy, this team does not throw the ball. They are bottom 3 in pass rate over expectation. I think they're still adjusting to this post-Caleb McGarry world. And you see that week 2 against the Vikings, Bijan played 67% of the snaps to Allgeier's 32%. Tyler Allgeier got 16 carries to Bijan's 22. Towards the end of the game, Tyler Allgeier was the guy in there icing it away, getting the touchdown on that final drive, much to Matthew Berry's chagrin, against the Vikings. So in a game where the where the Falcons are 5.5-point favorites against the Panthers, who might have the worst rush defense in the NFL, I think this is a game, like there are going to be games where Tyler Allgeier, I would think of him as like a kind of a poor man's David Montgomery from last year, where I think he's going to get a lot of work, he's going to have a lot of touchdown equity, and in favorable matchups like this one, I think he can be like a low-end viable flex guy.
Yeah, to me, that's the key, favorable matchups like this one. Like you mentioned the usage last week, the problem, the Vikings couldn't get anything going on offense, and so it was just game script dependent. I don't know that I would count on Tyler Allgeier as a viable flex week in, week out. I think he's better suited as basically an insurance back for anyone that has Bijan Robinson on their team. All that said, Lawrence, I like the call in terms of is he usable this week in a game in which we expect them to win and win handily against the Panthers.
Man, looking at those week 2 numbers, 22 carries for your starter and then 16 for the backup, that is crazy. But again, that's because the Vikings were giving them the ball. Like the Falcons didn't have to do anything. There was really no need for them to throw the ball. They'll be in those types of games down the line, but this is certainly not going to be one, or at least we don't expect it to. One thing of note, though, these two teams met up in this year, week 18 last year. It was 44-38 in overtime. So have that in the back burner, too, though.
All right, question from Ryan Volts. Gross, Allgeier or Gainwell this week? Half-point PPR.
You're Mr. Allgeier. You tell me.
Ty Dolla $ign.
Yeah.
All the way. I think that Jalen Warren, per Aaron Rodgers, who's a decent source, says that Jalen Warren's going to get progressively more work and giving him more work in the pass game. So I think that's going to come at the expense of Kenneth Gainwell. And it's a favorable matchup against the Pats, but still I'd take Allgeier there.
See, I don't think it's I completely agree that it's Allgeier, but I don't think it's a favorable matchup against the Patriots. Through 2 weeks, the Patriots have actually given up the third fewest rushing yards.
That defense overall.
The third fewest rushing yards to in the game. The third fewest rushing yards in the NFL through 2 weeks are the Patriots. They faced Ashton Jeanty and De'Von Achane.
Yeah.
I'm just, so, yeah. And Gainwell's done nothing. Gainwell's been out there a lot, but it's mostly blocking and yes, Tyler Allgeier.
I think Tyler Allgeier going to score a touchdown again.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, let's get to some others receiving votes, headlined by friend of the show. He hasn't been on the show, but we like him. He's our friend Dobby, J.K. Dobbins, who gets a matchup against the Chargers.
Dobby has 15 touches in both games so far this season and 86% of the Broncos' red zone rushes. So when they get in close, they're going to Dobby. I'm at running back 27, as you see there. How about Cam Skattebo? We love Tyrone Tracy here, but I'm not coaching the Giants. Cam Skattebo led the backfield in snap rate and touches in week 2. He got the only goal line carry going against Kansas City. Not a great matchup, but it does feel like Skattebo at the moment is the lead of that backfield. And then listen, you know I love the tootler. Yeah. I love to toot. I'm a big fan of the toot. I often use the toot, and I would suggest everyone else also use the toot. Bhayshul Tuten, of course, is what I'm talking about against the Houston Texans. They've allowed the 9th most fantasy points to opposing running back so far this year, Lawrence. And last week, 74 yards on just 10 touches. Yeah. 74 yards on just 10 touches. That is, give me a second, 7.4 yards per touch. Did that math in my head, no big deal. I'm just going to say I don't want to brag, but I mean, 7.4 yards per touch is pretty good,
I think you can't prepare with that answer.
No. I literally, right now,
you was
right now,
and stuff.
In my head, he only played 18 snaps, but he saw a touch on 10 of them. He was explosive, and I think he's going to only get more work. A lot of people have said he could be this year's Bucky Irving. I am on that train.
Okay, question from Valiant Vincent.
Yep.
Need to figure out this flexual frustration over Calvin Ridley. If Travis Hunter or Rootin' Tootin' are worth the start instead. That's a terrifying nickname.
Yeah.
Vincent.
Yeah, it certainly is. Now, Tennessee is at home against Indianapolis, so I do think better days are ahead for Calvin Ridley. I'm not starting Travis Hunter until I see it, and they're going up against Houston, which is a pretty good secondary as well. So I actually. And look, you just heard me talk up Rootin' Tootin', the Tootin' machine, the Tootler.
Toot Daddy.
The Toot Daddy. A lot of things we can have here with Bhayshul, but I'm going with Calvin Ridley. Just volume. I know it's been a slow start, but Rams and Broncos, Pat Surtain cover. There's a reason why he's still the number one option on a team that's going to throw up. For me, it's Calvin Ridley. I know the Colts are good, but I'm saying Calvin Ridley.
It's really.
Too much work. What do you think?
No, it's really. You even saw that increase in week 2 for him. Now, you kind of get some relief with when you got the Colts pass rush rather than the Broncos or the Rams. So, yeah.
Question from Mr. T, the Mr. T. Lawrence's sock game today has to have Matthew's ankles feeling
game?
jelly. Yeah.
What's going on with your sock game?
Just some stripes,
right.
man.
I want to be
just some stripes.
I want to be very
I ain't
clear
a
about
big
this.
ankle guy.
Yeah, no.
Lawrence has terrible ankles.
Yeah.
I gotta have something on the ankles. Ankles get a little cold, mucho frio sometimes, So we gotta keep something on the ankles there.
Okay, yeah.
I understand.
Let's not get
Not
close up of Matthews.
Not everyone can pull off my
please do.
ankle game the way I do. I will say, let's see. There you go. A little something for the kids. There you go.
Not for the kids, hopefully.
Hey,
Yeah,
100%
over
real
18s.
skin. Let them know. That's real skin right there.
Over 18, obviously. Just when you're my age, everyone's a kid.
That's
to be perfectly honest
what you
with
just
you.
did there is illegal in Texas, where we're going next week.
Don't worry about it. We don't air in
let's
Texas.
Go
It's fine.
to the hate list.
It's completely fine.
Headlined by Quinshon Judkins.
Yes.
Hate list. He's trending up, but this week he plays the best defense in football potentially, Matthew.
And that's the issue, right? It's the Packers who allow under 40 rushing yards per game. It's the second fewest in the NFL. In fact, running backs that face the Green Bay Packers this year averaging just 2.4 yards per carry. Remember, they faced Jahmyr Gibbs in week number 1. They faced Eckler and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt in week number 2. Judkins, who is the lead of that Browns backfield, I think he needs to be rostered in 100% of leagues, but I'm outside my top 35 for the week. He's my running back 36. I just want no part of any offense facing the Packers if I can avoid it.
Quinshon Judkins surprisingly got he was running back one off the bat for the Cleveland Browns, but like you said, tough defense going against the Cleveland Browns. I'm sorry, Green Bay Packers.
Yes, sir.
Quinshon Judkins might play for the Cleveland Browns. If I didn't see Jahmyr Gibbs do it against the Packers, hell, the Cleveland Browns offense as a whole is struggling to move the ball. So it is extreme. I'm scared to start any Cleveland Brown, Njoku, Harold Fannin, Gerald Jeudy, all of them against this.
I actually think Fannin might be okay. We'll talk about him a little bit later in the show, but quick question for you.
Yeah.
Jay has brought this up the other day, but how soon do if Flacco struggles here against the Packers, and I can't imagine that he won't. Like I don't see
We'll get to
Joe,
Flacco
as
later.
spry as he is, I just don't see him outrunning Micah Parsons and company. Do we see a quarterback? When is your prediction that we see a quarterback change in Cleveland? And as the biggest Shadur Sanders fan I know, is it going to be Sanders or Dylan Gabriel?
It'll be Dylan Gabriel first. He's the backup. He's the guy who came in after Flacco. Shout out to Dylan Gabriel threw his first NFL touchdown pass.
He did.
Nice to see somebody from Cleveland Browns throwing a touchdown pass, no matter when it came in the game. But it would be Dylan Gabriel, and I think, man, you just saw Flacco have 45 passing attempts and didn't reach 200 passing yards. If something similar like that happens again, man, it'd be tough to go past week 5 with this. Really week 4, but, you brought Joe Flacco in for something. We should, if Dylan Gabriel is the backup now, which he is, he probably should be playing right now.
Yep, agreed.
They just may not want to throw a rookie into the against the Packers. That's the issue. But
it's like
the Browns' upcoming schedule is just it's not tough. It's not easy.
Like he couldn't.
Not good.
The pressure that they apply, and Ravens didn't have a good pass rush in week 1, but they did against the Cleveland Browns, and he just couldn't. Like the other quarterbacks the Browns have on the roster move a lot better than Joe Flacco does at this point.
There you go.
Indeed. All right, Lawrence. Tyrone Tracy, the book on Tracy, his appeal was that he's going to be the number 1 guy, and that would offset the concerns about the Giants' offense in general, the bad offensive line. But now it doesn't even feel like he has a grip on work share.
Yeah, we saw that. You look at week 1 running back touches. He had 63% of those to Cam Skattebo's 21%. Week 2, that changed drastically. Tyrone Tracy down to 37.5% of the running back touches. Skattebo 54% of the touches. What you're seeing on the screen is the actual snap rate, which also went to Cam Skattebo. So I think hearing what Brian Daboll said, I think he's just gonna go with the flow. He said Skattebo had good runs, so we had to go with him.
Tyrone Tracy, this picture clearly taken before he got his workload limited.
Yeah. That is not the face of someone who just got 37.5% of the running back touches right there.
Exactly.
But then two guys, he hasn't been effective in these two games in the running game. Just 15 carries for 39 yards. That's 2.5 yards per carry. See my math right there, Matthew?
Yeah, well done.
You're
like a young Matthew Berry out there.
Yeah. I don't know about that, though. Then there's this, too, right? The Chiefs, while they're struggling on the back end, run defense has not been a problem for them. They bottled up Amari and Hampton week 1. It took Saquon Barkley 22 carries just to get to 88 yards in week 2. So now you're going against the Giants running backs. Like, I like them other two running backs a little bit better. So going to be scary situation from a lot of points with Tyrone Tracy.
Yep, scary situation as well in some ways for Josh Jacobs, who even though the Packers are 7.5-point favorites in Cleveland, expect to have game script. Game script hasn't mattered for the teams placing the Cleveland Browns rush defense at this point. Derrick Henry had 11 carries for 23 yards. Like, that just doesn't happen.
In a game they dominated.
And they were up the whole time. They had game script. This Cleveland Browns defensive line and run defense might just be so good. Myles Garrett is on another planet at the moment that, look, you're still going to start Josh Jacobs. I just wouldn't expect amazing things.
Yep.
Also, the Packers' run game hasn't really ignited yet as they've dealt with injuries on their offensive line.
You're hoping he falls into the end zone, which he easily could.
Yeah, I don't think anything really has ignited for the Packers offense. They're playing well, but it's the defense is so good. It's like, you know.
Indeed. All right, let's jump to love-hate pass catches, headlined by Zay Flowers, who we heard from on being a spark plug in this stacked Ravens passing attack.
I feel like like anybody can start like with a spark. Anybody can spark us to just start moving the ball. You know what I mean? But I just feel like my energy is always like consistent, and I try to keep everybody up, keep everybody with a smile on their face, and whoever made the play, we made the play. As long as we get the ball moving downfield, I feel like we'd be all right.
Okay, Zay Flowers, who is just dominating in terms of target share. Matthew, only Jackson Smith in Jigba has a higher target share this season.
That's exactly right. Like, literally, only JSN has a higher target share than Zay Flowers' 42.6%. I mean, it's just insane. And then you think about this matchup against the Detroit Lions. It's a great game on Monday Night Football. Lions bottom 10 in terms of both most fantasy points and most yards allowed to opposing wide receivers. Ravens have the second highest implied team total in week 3, by the way. Over-under is 53.5. We expect a lot of fireworks on Monday night. So, yeah, give me Zay Flowers as a top 10 play this week. The concern with Flowers has always been, and he doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. He's not a big touchdown scorer. You know, you think about, they've got Andrews, they've got Hopkins, eventually they got Isaiah Likely back. They've got other.
The problem is they got
Derrick Henry when they get in close as well. But what's crazy is that even though he doesn't have this massive touchdown upside, Zay Flowers is just so good and so on the same page with Lamar Jackson that the volume hasn't mattered. That the touchdown equity isn't huge because he's just getting so much volume.
I'm going to bet every week that Zay Flowers is going to be the Ravens' offensive weapon every single week that touches the ball second to most Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, perhaps the primary offensive weapon in the Ravens' rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers, is DK Metcalf, who's still waiting to fully ignite. But I think we've seen enough from Aaron Rodgers, Lawrence, to suggest that Aaron Rodgers, even though it's imperfect, he can't really move that much anymore. But he still has the arm and he can still get DK Metcalf the ball. And now they have a really favorable matchup against the Patriots passing defense that has not been good.
Yeah, talked about it on Fantasy Football pregame we did. We talked about, can this Dolphins receiving group get back on track, and they did, and that's enough for me to know that when you're going against the Patriots pass defense, then you want to get a receiving
especially as long as Christian Gonzalez is banged up.
Yeah, that too, and then you just got, when Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, it's all about trust. Which guys does he trust? Right now, that's DK Metcalf, that's Jaylen Warren, and so DK Metcalf should be ready to get fired up this week.
Yep, Matthew, a guy that Caleb Williams seems to trust, and Ben Johnson does too, is Odunze, who is pretty clearly the number 2 in terms of where he's drafted among wide receivers for the Bears, but he's the number 1 guy at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of people say Rome wasn't built in a day, but maybe a weekend? Thank you very
Look
much.
at this
God
guy,
bless.
man.
Look at me. Come on, God bless.
I don't know what that
There
means.
you go. There you go. Thank you very much. God bless. There you go. Came up with that right just in the moment right there.
Good to see you blessing the regulars with his C material
Yeah.
today.
I think you're being generous with C material. To be honest with you, listen. The 2 shows on
Bill
Friday.
Burr, watch out.
Tip your waitresses. Please try the curly fries. All right, look. Here's the thing about Rome Odunze, right? I'm at wide receiver 12, so I'm as a wide receiver 1 this week. You love the matchup with the Cowboys, who've allowed the most yards on deep passes. Rome Odunze obviously leads the Bears in average depth of target and deep targets as well. I mean, this is a team that Wan'Dale Robinson got deep on the Cowboys, right? Including Malik Neighbors. 74 fantasy points to Giants wide receivers. That's what the Cowboys gave up in week number 2. And in both games so far this year, Rome Odunze has at least 6 receptions in both games. That matches his total from all of last year. Like, he only had 2 games last year with at least 6 receptions. He's 2 for 2 so far. He has clearly supplanted DJ Moore as the number 1 weapon in the passing game for Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. And this matchup with Dallas so far, just amazing. 30% target share. So no other wide receiver in the Bears is over 16%. So over 18%, I should say. So, yeah, Odunze, top 12 for me.
Yeah, they just turned Wan'Dale Robinson into a peak Jerry Rice, the Cowboys' pass defense.
Yes, sir.
Tetairoa McMillan, Lawrence, who has been probably the singular bright spot for the Panthers so far. He has looked like an absolute beast.
And the Chubbler. The Chubbler's been fine.
The Chubbler's been fine. It's not like anyone's writing articles
what
about
about
the Chubbler.
Bryce Young winning behind by 15 to 20 points?
I'd say the headline is more that he gets behind by 15 to 20 points in the first place, but Tetairoa McMillan just looks like a beast, and he's just going to have an overwhelming target share in that offense.
Yeah, double-digit fantasy points in his first 2 NFL regular season games without even scoring he hasn't scored a touchdown yet. That honor goes to my boy, Hunter Renfrow. But besides that, 9 targets week 1, 10 targets week 2. Again, Carolina 5.5-point underdogs in this game against Atlanta. And I brought it up earlier about the game that the Falcons and the Panthers had in week 18 of last season, which was in 2025, like we are here now. Carolina won 44-38 in a shootout. Now, I saw Atlanta's defense against the Vikings last week. Still a young quarterback there, but this has some surprising shootout potential as well. So, Tetairoa McMillan, like him in week 2. A.J. Terrell might not make the game. That just hurts Atlanta on that end of the field even more. And is a young, bright star to make it.
Yep, 7-1 to an offensive rookie of the year.
You talk about situations, and there aren't that many in the NFL, but you talk about situations where, I'm going to use maybe 1 hand instead of 2. These are now my wide receiver hands, not to be confused.
Sure. Yes, running back.
So my wide receiver hands in terms of wide receivers in the NFL, where they literally have 0 target competition, and I would argue Tetairoa McMillan, who's competing with Hunter Renfrow, who wasn't on an NFL roster a month ago, and Xavier Legette, who has been, to be kind, inconsistent in his NFL career so far. It is all, and we've seen some Jatavian Sanders, I suppose, but literally, he is their offense. And so you can count on one hand the guys that are a 30% target share here, and he's or near it, and he's on that list.
Yeah, him. JSN is on the hand.
Yeah.
You know what's the funny thing is that it kind of contradicts it, and they play for the same team, but I think Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua are both on that hand because there's no one else.
Yeah, Malik Neighbors is on the hand, right? I might need another hand, but I don't, maybe a couple of fingers.
Yeah.
A hand and a couple of fingers. Hand and a half.
Yeah. Terrifying analogy. All right, question from Lawrence Sue. Jackson's brother. Need help with picking 2. Emeka Egbuka, who, by the way, wasn't practicing today, so that's something to monitor. A.J. Brown, T-Mac, or Keenan Allen this week? That's a good question.
That is a good question because...
trouble, Lawrence.
You go ahead.
Who the Eagles got?
Philadelphia is playing the Rams. So that's a tough matchup, and A.J. Brown's been bad. So that's what's crazy is before this season, you'd have been well, it's obviously A.J. Brown and Tetairoa McMillan, basically, but... Emeka's been hot for 2 weeks. So has Keenan Allen. Yeah. Chargers are at home to Denver. He'll probably avoid Pat Surtain. I think McConkey will get a decent amount of him, or they'll keep him on one side.
McConkey's banged up too.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be dictated by injuries. I think if everyone is healthy, I might even go with the 2 rookies.
2 rookies.
Which is kind of crazy. But A.J. Brown, that passing attack has just been so bad. And I kind of need to sit. And then Keenan Allen we'll see. It's just such a brutal matchup against the Broncos.
Keenan Allen was almost the guy that I picked to talk about instead of Tetairoa because, again, at the end of the day, that's Justin Herbert's guy. Like, he's Keenan Allen. It's almost like last year with the Bears didn't happen for Keenan Allen. But if all healthy, Jay, I might roll with you and go 2 rookies here, Emeka Egbuka, Tetairoa McMillan.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'll just say this, Lawrence. I like your wide receiver room. I mean, all 4, like, I know it's been tough for A.J. Brown. Better days are ahead for A.J. Brown. He's just too good. The Eagles are too good for him just to be this disappointing. So I do think better days are ahead, but, like, and so I think they're all right there. I understand the question, so I don't know that you can totally screw it up, but I will say I'll go with you guys and the rookie wide receivers there.
Yep. Speaking of too good, the Lions, too good to replicate their Week 1 performance. They got back on track very much against the Bears in Week 2. Now, tougher matchup against Baltimore, but Sam LaPorta has really picked up, really left off in his rookie season. He seems back to that type of player.
Yeah, a little bit quieter in Week 2, but a big game in a week against the Packers in Week 1. He actually had a nice game. He had almost 80 yards against the Packers defense. They didn't give much up in week number 1. So LaPorta is a love. Again, see what I did there? I mean, honestly, like I'm like the Harlem Globetrotters out here of the English language. Just the way I'm mixing and matching, weaving, doing a little, what's the song they sing? Is it Sweet Georgia Brown? Little Sweet Georgia Brown out here.
There is somebody watching this YouTube live right now that think these are hilarious. And as long as you get one person, it's like the NFL GM. You just need one team to believe in.
That's what I need. I need somebody, I need one of the regulars to back me up here and tell me they're enjoying this. Either way, LaPorta is a love. And part of it is because of this matchup with the Ravens. I get it. The Ravens have this reputation as being this awesome defense, but against they're 31st against the pass through 2 weeks. Now, again, that's skewed by the crazy Week 1 game where, Josh Allen just went nuts. But still, through 2 games, the Ravens have allowed the second most yards to tight ends this season. Tight ends that have faced the Ravens this year have caught 94% of their targets. Even last week in which the Browns couldn't get anything moving, Njoku and Fannin were both pretty solid against the Ravens. So Sam LaPorta is my number 3 tight end this week. I think it's a good matchup. I think you want as much of this Lions-Ravens game as you can get. Again, 53.5 is the over-under.
Accurate comment from Cujo. Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Yeah, but he can be talking about anyone.
Still searching for that one guy, says DJ Dragon.
DJ Dragon, come on, Dragon. Come on, Dragon. Where'd we go? I thought we had something, you and I.
Come on, somebody give us some hope here.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, Mr. Dragon.
What do you mean that guy stinks? He could be talking about Lawrence or Jay. We don't know who it is.
But he also could be talking about, like, literally.
Here we go. Stuntman Chuck 85. Matthew, never stop making bad jokes. You're the ankle breaker of comedy. I will take that. I think that is compliment adjacent.
The ankle breaker of comedy.
Yeah,
okay, let's move on.
Listen,
Thank you for chiming in the regulars. It has been a tough day for Matthew so far. Others receiving votes, headlined by George Pickens, who starts to get loose against the Giants.
Yeah, and it's also the Bears, right? Pickens has seen 71% of the Cowboys' end zone targets so far this year, and going against Chicago, that through 2 games, the Bears have allowed the most touchdowns to wide receivers. I think Pickens scores at least once on Sunday. How about Juwan Jennings? Came back last week, had 26% target share. He's had a 28% target share over his last 9 completed games. When he's out there, he's getting the rock. And since week 10 of last year, he's averaging 15 fantasy points per game. Listen, Wan'Dale Robinson, go long, Wan'Dale. You can't try to contain him. It's worth noting the Chiefs allow the second highest catch rate to the slot. Wan'Dale Robinson lines up there, and clearly they're going to let Russ cook. How about Juwan Johnson? We talked about this literally on this show last week. Last week he was on the love list. He crushed. He's once again back. He's not 100% rostered, which I don't get, but so far this year, there are only 2 other tight ends that have a higher target share than Juwan Johnson, and it's a nice matchup against the Seahawks. Seattle has allowed the most fantasy points to opposing tight ends, and you know what, Lawrence? What the hell? I'm giving a little love to your guy, Kyle Pitts. The Carolina Panthers have allowed at least 17 fantasy points to tight ends in both games this season. Believe it or not, your guy, Kyle Pitts.
KP.
He's 4th in route participation among tight ends this season at 87%. Shout out Dwayne McFarland and the FantasyLife.com utilization report. But Kyle Pitts, 4th among tight ends in route participation, and they're playing, oh, by the way, the Panthers.
He's come a long way since, partying with Justin Fields in the summer.
And Dubai or wherever the hell they were.
Hey, Michael Penix like him. You talked earlier about how they don't throw a lot. He throw the Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
indeed.
they're
buddies.
trying to make him a thing.
They're buddies.
By the way, Juwan Johnson currently leading the NFL power rankings of JJ's, given that McCarthy struggled and Jefferson has mostly been unsighted.
1,000%. Of course, Jauan Johnson, everyone remembers him from his triumphant title running performance in Week 17 2 years ago. For Live at Noon in the Cock.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone remembers that. I
Yeah.
bet you he gets stopped on the street and they ask him for
about-
pictures. Like,
yeah.
I loved you when you helped Matthew win a title 2 years ago.
Unbelievable. All right, well, let's get to the hate list, headlined by my hatred for those comments. But Jerry Jeudy against the Green Bay Packers, Matthew. Jerry Jeudy just doesn't really do much anymore.
Yeah, look, in both games this season, he's had a below 20% target share, 0 red zone targets. Not a shock because he's never been a big touchdown scorer throughout his career. But now, what do you know? They're playing the Packers. 5th fewest yards per game allowed to wide receivers. And the Browns have the lowest implied team total in week number 3. Again, I think Harold Fannin and Njoku might be okay in this game, but if I have to start a Browns wide receiver, it's got to be Club Said. I'm not touching Jerry Jeudy. Club Said, of course, always open.
Yep. Keon Coleman,
Hashtag,
Lawrence.
trademark Matthew Berry.
Had that epic game in week 1 against the Ravens. Now gets a favorable matchup against the Dolphins, but they may not need to throw that much.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. Week 1, Keon Coleman, wide receiver 2, negative game script. Week 2, wide receiver 83 in the positive game script. So positive that even Josh Allen was only quarterback 24, so they didn't need it. So how much will you need against this Dolphins team? That's why I'm not loving Keon Coleman this week.
Yep. Hey, listen to me. Evan Engram is just not relevant to this Broncos offense at all. He has 33 yards in 2 games. Troy Franklin seems to have taken a lot of the kind of the short intermediate routes and the crosses, and it just doesn't feel like Engram is a big part of Sean Payton's plans.
It's so weird because I was pro Engram. Like, they signed him to the big contract, right? Follow the money. And you're like, what does Engram do well? Catch a lot of passes, not that far from the line of scrimmage, especially over the middle. What does Bo Nix do well? Short, accurate passes. And it's just like, man, this guy's going to be a PPR machine. He's going to be like a Michael Thomas type, at the tight end position. He's just going to be a over 100 catches kind of guy. And, like, they're using Adam Trautman over him.
Yeah.
Like, he's just not out there. He can't score fantasy points when you're on the bench, Lawrence.
No, sir.
No,
You
sir.
talk about Michael Thomas. He ain't better than Michael Maye right now.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Sunday night, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs take a road trip to New York where they face the Giants in a primetime showdown. Sunday, 7 Eastern on NBC and Peacock. We're going to hit our first break when we come back.
You know what they're calling this? You know what they're calling this game? Somebody's got to win.
Yeah, okay. Hold on.
It's true. It's true.
Let's hit the break
NBC and
quickly.
Peacock, 7 o'clock Eastern. Let's go. Chiefs, Giants, Russ, Pat. Both these guys are going to cook.
Caleb, what's it like for you this week preparing to face Matt Eberflus as the defensive coordinator on the other side?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as preparing it each week for me. You got to go out there and execute the plays that Ben calls. And then other than that, I've played a bunch of kind of ball versus that defense and kind of how he runs. So it's interesting in a way. Obviously, Matt was my coach obviously last year. So just being able to move past all of that and be able to go out there and help Chicago Bears be one of those weeks.
Okay, love-hate quarterbacks. Headline Matthew by that man. Caleb Williams. Been a bit of a rough start to the season, but Caleb has shown signs, and he gets as favorable a matchup as possible in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for a better matchup than the Dallas Cowboys, who rank 30th in pass defense through 2 weeks. They're allowing the 4th most yards per pass attempt. We thought Russell Wilson was dead, and then he shows up, and then suddenly throws for 400 yards against the Cowboys. So Caleb Williams, who looks pretty good. I mean, Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson both scored at least 24 fantasy points against these Cowboys. The over-under in this game is 50.5. That's the second highest on the Week 3 slate. Bears have a top 5 implied team total. Yeah, Caleb Williams. I'm a QB6 this week. I think Caleb cooks.
Yep. Well, you mentioned Russell Wilson, the original chef. Let Russ cook. Russ cooked last week, Lawrence, and now he plays the Kansas City Chiefs, who are a bit of a pass funnel with how good their run defense has been.
Yeah. Quarterback 2 last week for Russell Wilson. He indeed got to cooking. And just like you said, Kansas City's defense is better against the run that they've been against the pass these first couple of weeks. But the thing for Russell here is he's the Giants' leading rusher right now. 67 yards through two games at 6 yards per carry. Kansas City allowed Justin Herbert to go for 32 yards in week 1. So I think, and part of it is I think Russell's like running for his life. So if he could get those 3-4 points, because he's not going to go for another 400 passing yards, but he could probably get 3.
Yeah.
Especially if they're losing.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I know this isn't the case, but they're doing these designed runs with Russ, and I'm thinking, like, when they're doing it, and he's not that fast anymore, it's like, are you trying to get him hurt? Just putting him under a little bit of pressure there. Dak Prescott on the love list, Matthew. Dak, he just looks like 2023 Dak again.
He really does. You couldn't ask for a better matchup with the Bears as well. Through 2 weeks, they're allowing touchdown passes at the highest rate in the NFL. They're also giving up the 3rd most yards per completion. They rank 31st in pressure rate. So Dak should have a very clean pocket. Oh, by the way, Jalen Johnson out for the Bears as well. So clean pocket, depleted secondary. Give me all the Dak. He's my QB7 this week.
Yep. Okay, a little off the beaten path pick here for the love list. Cam Ward, who has not produced statistically the first 2 weeks, but I do think in terms of the underlying stuff, just the eye test, I think Cam Ward's good. I think he's going to turn the corner. Now the Colts, we'll see how good the Colts defense is. I think with Charvarius Ward and Latu back, they'll be better than they were against the Broncos. But it's not. He doesn't have to face as an elite pass rush. You have to play the Broncos in week 1. You have to play Jared Verse and co in week 2. This is going to be easier. The Colts do not have a great edge rushing room. I think Cam Ward is going to continue to take strides. And I think, look, he'll trend towards being a viable QB2 at some point, probably just knocking on the door to that as opposed to there right now. But I believe in Cam Ward. I think he is going to turn the corner. Let's get to others receiving votes, headlined by Drake Maye, who's taken a pretty big leap this year, Matthew.
Yeah, this is my favorite stat of week 3. The Steelers are allowing the 5th most yards per pass attempt. So far, they've faced Justin Fields and Sam Darnold. A guy that doesn't throw and a guy that, I mean, like literally, Justin Fields and Sam Darnold, and they're still giving up the 5th most yards per pass attempt. Patriots, by the way, top 5 in pass rate over expected this season. And how about Jared Goff as part of that shootout on Monday night? Baltimore 25th in pressure rate through 2 weeks. When Goff has time to throw, he's pretty lethal. 53.5 again, highest over/under on the slate. We expect a lot of fireworks.
Yep. All right, hate list. Matthew, it's been 2 years since CJ Stroud was good. At this point, he does not look right at the moment.
He really doesn't. Like the yips that followed him last year because of the lack of confidence in his offensive line have followed him into 2025. And by the way, the Texans allow pressure at the 7th highest rate in the NFL. He's constantly under siege, and he's not even throwing deep. Through 2 weeks, Stroud just 23rd in average depth of target. Week 6 of last year. That was the last time CJ Stroud even got 17 fantasy points. He's outside my top 20.
Okay. Lawrence, a guy who's playing better football this year, but perhaps won't need to do too much this week, is Jordan Love.
Yeah, Jordan Love playing damn good real football, but week 1, just quarterback 17, that's okay. It's not great, but the Lions didn't score a touchdown until the fourth quarter in that game, so what do you have to do? Week 2, he's quarterback 11, which is more solid, but again, your Commanders didn't score a touchdown, and those are two good teams. They didn't score a touchdown till the fourth quarter in that game. So now they're 8.5-point favorites against the Cleveland Browns. So when are they going to score a touchdown to kind of provide some type of resistance to this Green Bay team? I don't know if they're going to get that for Jordan Love to have those numbers.
Yep. Gentlemen, February 2024, NFL honors. Joe Flacco reduced me, not to tears, but to a deep, aggressive form of sadness after he defeated Damar Hamlin.
In fairness, more of an aggressive, depleted form of sadness.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. He won that award, and it made me greatly upset. This weekend I get my revenge because I'm going to set Micah Parsons upon you, Joe. And you are in big, big trouble, my friend. The Green Bay Packers are going to eat this book alive.
Will you be like over it with this?
I feel like I will be on the field with Micah as he swallows up Joe Flacco. It's going to be the lion chasing a duck. I think Joe Flacco.
You should wear a Micah Parsons jersey Sunday morning.
I think I should.
You should order a Packers Micah jersey and wear it Sunday morning.
Yeah, the Browns are in big trouble. I don't think Joe Flacco is going to do much. All right, we're going to take our last break. When we come back, it is last call preview of Thursday Night Football.
I love that you think that that's what turned you dark and sad.
Yeah.
I mean, like, is this if you never met?
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly and $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV. Just download the Sportsbook app and use promo code FFHH when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook.
Oh, the crown is yours. Who has the crown? Why, it's yours.
Okay, last call. Most bet player props. Dolphins at Bills. A lot of Josh Allen and a lot of James Cook as well. Josh Allen, alternate rushing yards 25 plus, and minus 157 is the most popular. I'm going to go with a Miami Dolphin. I'm going to take De'Von Achane over 39.5 receiving yards. He had 92 last week and went comfortably over both games against the Bills last year. 12.5-point dogs. I think they're going to have to be dumping off to the running back a ton and even getting him involved in more traditional pass plays as well. So I'll take the over there on Achane.
Yeah, for me, too many Bills bets, spread too big here. So I'm going Dolphins bet too. I'm going to go Tyreek Hill, 70 receiving yards at plus 107. He got back on track last week. Now, Patriots aren't the Bills' defense, but you think the Dolphins are going to be slowing the game down running? I don't think so. Give me those yards for Tyreek Hill.
You think about last year, the Dolphins and the Bills played each other on Thursday night in Week 3. It was 31-10 Bills. And I would argue that the Bills are better now than they were in Week 3 last year, and the Dolphins are worse. I think they win easily, and I think there's a chance that you don't even see Josh Allen in the fourth quarter because they're up big. I think they're just going to be running. So give me Josh Allen under 29.5 passing attempts. In the same game last year, he threw the ball 19 times. I just don't see him chucking it up 30 times because he's not going to need to because the Bills' defense is so good. Dolphins on the road on a short week.
Yep, agreed. Didn't have to do much against the Jets either on Sunday. All right, let's take a look at Matthew's top players for Dolphins at Bills. A lot of these top guys are self-explanatory. You're starting Josh Allen, you're starting De'Von Achane, you're starting James Cook.
Yeah, and that's about it, honestly. I'm nervous. Tyreek Hill I have as a top 20 wide receiver. You're starting him. I'm a little nervous about Waddle and Coleman. Coleman just because I think they don't throw that much. Kincaid, you see it tight end 17. And then Waddle, he's banged up. And so if he's out there, I know he's going to give it a go, but it seems like he's less than 100%. I tend not to like offenses on the road on a short week in general, and this Dolphins offense just looks semi-broken.
Yep, it does. Tua is another tough one where, I think you probably have to start him in 2 quarterback leagues, but if you're starting Tua in single quarterback leagues, you're not feeling great about it.
I would think that in most one quarterback leagues, he's on waivers. Just after the first couple games, the interceptions. You mentioned Keon Coleman. He'll need a touchdown to pay off.
I'm in a 2 quarterback league, and I'm starting Tyrod Taylor and,
there you go.
And either Jaden Daniels or Marcus Mariota instead of Tua tonight. Listen, it's closing time, which means you don't have to go home. You don't. But you can't stay.
You gotta get out.
No, you can't stay here. Hey, go read 10 facts you need to know before Week 3 on NBCSports.com. For Lawrence and Jay, I'm Matthew. Peace out.